Okay, we'll call a meeting to order and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
United
of
States of
America
America and to the
and to
republic
the for which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with
visible,
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
for all.
Good job, everyone. Oh,
Little electronic delays there.
yeah.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from
I move
last meeting?
I so move. Second.
Should we go around and say A?
Yeah, we're gonna have to roll call it.
Yep.
Okay. A, Carl.
I just have Remy just call names and just do roll call that way.
Okay, great.
Bob,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Peggy,
Okay.
Carl.
Aye.
And we did the school board.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, or the first item on the agenda, is a comprehensive plan. I just wanted to put out that a reminder for people to complete the survey if they haven't done so already. If your feedback is necessary and useful to know how we want to proceed in the next 10 years. So please provide your feedback to the survey. The survey is available in paper at the town office and a couple of other places. I think Tyler, the store and the library, and you could also get the survey online on our website. Anything else to say about the comprehensive plan?
No, please fill out the survey.
Yeah. Do you have an update in terms of the number of people that we have who have filled it out?
If you give me a minute, I can pull it.
Okay. While you do that, I'll move on to website notifications. As we announced in our last select board meeting, you can now sign up to get emailed or text notifications for new things that might be happening or new announcements that are coming from the website. I would encourage everybody to sign up for all of them initially, and then you can go back in there and unsubscribe yourself from select notifications if there are too many of them for you. That's all I have to say on the website notifications, but I think you'll find it very helpful in terms of staying or being made aware of changes that have been made to the website, and specifically the notifications alerts that come from the top area of the website, like for the closure of the town office today. Okay.
87 responses as of right now.
Okay. It'd be great to get that up to a couple of hundred. That would be our goal. But I hope that anybody that's already completed the survey will remind their friends to also complete it. Okay. Next up. Sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
Do we know how many have signed up?
Have done it?
Yeah, signed up for the notice.
Oh,
No, I don't know that answer, Bob. I made a request to the website to revise today to see if we can get that information on an ad hoc basis, but I haven't gotten a response yet.
Okay.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to remind people about nominations for elected positions. There is a timeline for getting your paperwork. It's on the website, and anybody that wants to run for the select board and I believe school board should follow those timelines in order to get the required number of signatures needed. Okay, any other comments on nominations for elected positions? Okay, we'll move to the next item. It's just to say that the town clerk position has been posted. We have received, I think, 5 applications so far.
Yeah.
We will,
Way more, Carl.
Yeah,
Probably
way more.
close.
Oh, great,
Probably closer to 10.
great, awesome. Our plan is to close the applications. So anybody wanting to apply for that position needs to have their positions in by this Friday, the 27th by 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. We will start the interviews the week of March 2nd and go through the week of March 9th as necessary. So I just, again, wanted to let everybody know what the timelines for getting your applications in is and the timelines for having a decision made on this will be the end of the week of March 9th at the latest. I am all about, I think we should provide answers to each person individually as to whether or not they were selected or not, and so that everybody is aware of what the decision was.
Carl, I've got a question on that.
Yeah.
If there's just 4 or 5, easy peasy, interview everybody. But do you think we'll interview everyone if there are 10 or 12, or will there be an initial sort of round of reviews of the resumes?
I think an initial round of reviews of the resumes is the right way to go, personally.
Yeah, I agree.
Based on what we see, it may be clear that we don't need to interview everybody, but I would at least expect 3 to 5 interviews at a minimum.
Okay, great. Yeah, me too. Great.
Okay, any other questions about the clerk position? Okay, next on the agenda is a budget update. Tyler, I'm not expecting you to provide any specifics, but just to give us an understanding of where things are in terms of the budgeting for the next fiscal year.
So I would say about halfway through the department committee meetings at this point. We've met with fire, we've done the town office. Tomorrow night is community center, library, and other community service organizations. And then we have transfer station and roads and capital projects, and we'll be wrapped up a first draft. So I'm hoping to have a draft on the website, hopefully beginning of next month. Hopefully next Wednesday, if all goes according to plan. I've gotten good numbers back from the school. They've redid their calculations and have reduced the assessment to the town by 100,000, so from 18% down to 15%. They had a budget committee meeting last week, and they are presenting a second draft on Wednesday. So we'll know a little bit more then. We were supposed to have Leslie tonight to kind of give us an update off that budget meeting. She unfortunately couldn't make it. So she will try to coordinate with us on the 9th, I believe, is our next meeting. Beyond that, it's not an unreasonable increase. There's a couple of pain points, particularly on fire rescue and EMS. That's where we're seeing the biggest increase. But everywhere else is seeming pretty much in line with inflation. So we're hopefully where our goal is 3%. I think the school and the county are gonna kind of throw a wrench in that goal. But the actual town operation should be kind of within that 3 to 5 range.
Okay,
But
great.
we'll know a little bit more once we have roads, because that's about half of the town budget is roads, and we don't have those numbers yet.
I know there was some discussion about rescue and the town of Vienna. Has there been any decision made on what we need to ask from Vienna?
Well, it was kind of thought we would have that discussion here at our meeting, but with everybody kind of out and Vienna's weren't locked in for a year, it kind of put a pause on that. I think on our next agenda, we probably kind of discuss what we want to do and what we think, what our opening offer is, and then go to Vienna with that.
Okay,
But it's not a decision that fire and rescue needs to make. It's a decision we, the town of Mount Vernon, need to make as
Right.
to what we want to crawl back. I mean, Winthrop Ambulance is in the same boat as us. It's not like fire where, there's a structure fire in Mount Vernon, 4 other towns are going to respond. With the rescue call, we go to other towns to provide a service to them. So I think
Right.
there just needs to be a look at what that relationship is, and if they don't want to continue with how it is, then a change needs to be made.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a plan.
Why is
Any
this-
other questions about the budget update? Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Blake Hill Bridge and update. Either Bob or
Yep.
Peggy can give us that information.
Yep. Last week, they poured the leveling pad. They also poured the footing. They built the blocks up for that above the footing. So they've got that level off for about where the beams are going to be setting. They've backfilled that whole area. So the east side is almost complete. On the west side, CMP has made their connection to the pole. So is only the telephone, I would say, that needs to be moved over.
Okay, great.
They are on some sort of a vacation this week, so we won't have any progress for a little bit.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, thank you. If there are no questions about the bridge update, we'll move on to the RFPs for the community center ramps. I think the message that we wanted to deliver is that those RFPs are posted. Dan, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, posted. We're starting to get some information back from contractors. I fielded a call from a contractor today. I think the ramp RFP is pretty specific, specifically tied to ramp manufacturers. But the demolition work, the pulling down of the old ramp and the site prep work could happen with a number of contractors in the area. So we're encouraging everybody to reach out to the contractors and submit a bid. So yeah, that's off and running. Tyler, I think you probably saw that we'll have some numbers for you for the budget on those items by, I think, around March 17th.
Okay. Yep, we'll make that work. I'd kind of like it the 10th, but we can make the 17th work. We just have a public hearing that night, so we'll just kind of pencil a number in and put it on the second draft.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. We
Oh,
wanted
that's
to,
fine. That's why we have a first and second draft.
okay. We'll probably have some ballpark stuff by the 10th.
Okay.
Oh, that's it, Carl. Other than the committee is moving on to survey of other town needs and requirements, and it looks like, fingers crossed, we may have a state person help us pro bono for free. Christopher Root's been doing a great job on that, And we might get that work done at no cost to the town. Fingers crossed. More
Yeah,
to
that'd be
come.
awesome. Excellent. Any other questions about the ramps? Okay, next item on the agenda is that we are trying to schedule a presentation with the GIS resource from KB Cog to give an overview of the new electronic maps that we had created in preparation for our annual town meeting and for getting feedback by residents about how the maps look as far from each resident's perspective. What we're trying to do is get feedback from anybody that has an opportunity to go in and look at the maps, identify any things that look out of order. But I think that it would be helpful to have a presentation by KB Cog as a first step so that people know what is actually in the new electronic map system and how to use it before we actually ask people for feedback. But we will be trying to do this, get the feedback during the month of March. So I will provide an update about when that presentation will happen as soon as I get some additional feedback from the resource at KVCog.
Cal?
Yes.
Now, are they going to be replacing our tax maps or those?
Well, I don't know that they'll replace them, but they will be available on the website. And the tax maps are one of those areas where the tax maps are not going to be overlaying the individual's boundaries perfectly, because the tax maps were never designed to be that. And right now we're just using the old tax maps, the tax maps that we've been using over the years, and we overlaid that on the more digital representations of the maps of Mount Vernon in general. Again, that will be the kinds of, what we'll do is for this presentation, we'll have an overview and then a question and answer period. And I think those are the kinds of questions that would be appropriate for Turner from KVCog to address.
Okay, one thing that I'm picking up on them is I'll look at like map T10, and I'll look at some of the lots on it, and they will be missing on the KV cog.
Okay, anything like that, if you see anomalies like that, just let me know. Send that any detail you can provide about what's missing, and I can in turn provide that to KB Cog.
Okay.
So yeah, anybody that has any issues with what they're seeing, if they look at it now, please send them to the select board, and I will forward those to KB Cog to be addressed.
Is there a reoccurring cost to this? Because we don't have a budget number for it.
No, it's part of our KB Cog dues.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's one of the real benefits of being part of KB Cog. They'll provide updates, if there's subdivisions that occur during the year. As long as we provide the details to KB Cog, they will do the updates for free once a year.
So we don't need a tax map line anymore in the budget.
I don't think so. Bob, do you have any perspective about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, KB cog is supposed to provide us uh, maps each year if for any updates. So I'm not sure why we would need it, but yeah, let's talk about it further.
Yeah, I'd like to see what we actually receive,
Yep.
just to make sure it's something that the assessor is going to be able to work with too.
Yep.
Because those are key for them.
Okay. Yeah, and while I'm talking about maps, and this is kind of an addition to the table or to this agenda, I've heard from, so as many people are aware, we announced that the tax information database was finally updated by the Harris company that maintains that for us, i.e. tied to Trio. I've gotten a couple of these questions from residents that this, in particular, the summary information at the top of the page is not always or may not be accurate to what their assessed value is. And if you have that experience, please let me know, let us know, so that we can dig into this potential issue. I looked at my own tax situation, and the summary is in line with what is in the body. And the real question is whether this is something for the assessor to look at, or whether it's an issue, a computational issue with Harris.
Where do you
So-
go to? Documents section of the
Yeah.
website?
Go to Documents, Tax Maps.
Okay, thanks.
That has the PDF. Remy?
Does KV Cog also provide printed out tax maps? Because I know that the tax maps line in the budget also accounts for when we need to reprint them and keep, because we have the
Yeah.
big one in the office.
I think they'll provide the file, but I don't think they will provide the big map
The actual
book.
printed, okay.
Yeah.
So we probably need to keep the
Need a
line
quote, okay.
for printing.
Right.
It could
Well,
probably
they
be
will-
reduced, but
I don't if I can just get a quote on that, then
Yeah.
we'll just quote that plus incidentals.
that's fine.
Yep.
I would say that's already in.
That's in there. Okay. Carl, we
Okay.
do have public hearing scheduled, budget public hearing scheduled on the 17th and the 28th. If you want to coincide that KV cog hearing on either one of those. I don't know if the
Oh.
17th will work because that's a 6 o'clock public hearing on the budget. But the 28th is an 11 PM budget public hearing, or 11 AM rather.
Yeah, thank you.
If we want to collate those and just have one big hearing on that Saturday hearing, that might work.
Okay, great. I'll provide those dates to Turner as well.
You're doing it on St. Patty's Day, you know.
I agree with Bob. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Okay.
Ides of March. Okay, any other questions on the KV cog maps or tax related listing?
I have one thing. I just have one thing on about tax maps in general. I know that some of the tax maps currently are incorrect.
Yep.
Is there
Well, they don't follow boundaries correctly.
right? Is there a timeline for that to be updated?
No.
No. That is a major project, given the deeds that are in place in the town, and would require effectively surveys, of each property in order to modify those tax maps.
Anybody can go right to the Registry of Deeds, plug in their book and page number, and they'll bring up their deed right there and they can read it.
Right,
Doesn't
I
cost.
just meant from the standpoint of if we're doing a revow and we're being assessed via the tax map, but your tax, like your individual plot map is completely incorrect, are you being assessed incorrectly then?
I mean,
No,
uh,
So they're assessing based on the deeds.
right.
that and to like, I mean, I'll use the old deed at the old country store. The deed was based on the deed was written over 150 years ago on trees that are no longer there. So to even create produce a correct lot map, you'd have to have it all surveyed. And the village district down in West Mount Vernon, you're gonna have to have every single one of those lots surveyed.
So if you look at the assessor's card, it will give 150, 250. It will give those dimensions, but they are not on we don't put it on our maps.
Okay. I just know, I know someone who has, their property used to be one big, large property. It got subdivided out into 5 or 6 lots, but our tax map still shows it's one big property. And those subdivided lots do not exist on the map.
Did they
So
record them?
what do you mean?
If they didn't record those 5 or 6 lots,
I mean, it's all in the deeds. All the deeds are
but if they
legit.
didn't record it,
Okay. I don't know.
That,
That's
yeah,
what I'm
that
saying.
should have gone through, the planning committee, and that should have been recorded.
Yeah.
I can ask.
things people don't.
I'm just saying, I just didn't know, like, I know for a fact that the tax map shows one large lot and not like 4 or 5
Mm.
subdivided lots. So if they're getting assessed, are they getting assessed on the whole lot?
Yeah, that's something wrong. You should, do you know what it is? Let me know what.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Okay.
Okay, there are no other questions on that item. We'll move to, we're actually going to bypass the school budget update because Tyler already provided a bit of an update. We were going to have Leslie Marcos come in to provide that update, but she's out sick today. So we'll move on to finalizing the table or finalizing table 11-1 of the land use ordinance fees. And Bob, can you provide an overview of what we need to do here? Is it just a vote to agree to implement those fees?
Last meeting, the public hearing, and when we came out of the public hearing, we should have had a vote to the fees. And so what we should do tonight is actually have the fees listed on table 11-1 of the land use ordinance.
So moved.
And a
Seconded.
vote?
Yep, moved and
Vote.
Peggy seconded
Yep.
Okay.
Vote.
Hang on. What's the actual language for the motion, Tyler?
I move to approve
it.
tables 11-1
11-1.
of the land use ordinances as presented by select person Grenier.
Yeah, it's a land use ordinance fees.
Fees.
You have a copy of that. Thank you. As presented. Okay. All right, Bob,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Carl,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Peggy.
Aye.
Okay. All good.
Thank you.
Okay.
So,
Are there any other questions about that item? Okay, we'll move on to the benefits package. Tyler, I know you were reviewing those, and the idea is to try to finalize that.
Yep. So we had a working session last Monday. I presented a draft benefits manual. And I circulated that out via email. The gist of it is it's going to be a change from what was approved last year. So this will have to go back through town meeting for a vote to expend more money. But long and short of it, we're going to split benefits into two distinct categories, and they're going to be accrued differently based on full-time employment versus part-time employment. So part one is health, dental, and vision benefits. We're going to offer a plan through MMA. I send proposals out for Acadia, Katahdin, and Pemaquid, the best, the middle, and the worst. They're about $300 roughly difference per month. The key here on this is it's only going to be offered to full-time employees working more than 30 hours per week. And the town is going to cover 80% of the employee-only contribution. So if an employee elects to bring a child or a spouse or a whole family, the town's contribution remains the same on a dollar for dollar basis, and they would be responsible to assume the difference in that plan. So if it's, say the town covers $1,800 on the Acadia plan, but it's $3,200 a month for a full family, the employee would assume the difference between the $1,800 town contribution and the total premium for that plan. And that would be the same for vision and dental. Moving on to retirement. This would be offered to all employees at a 4% match, meaning the employee would need to contribute 4% and the town would match that. And this would be through the 457B plans that we already approved. That core contribution from the town would be vested 25% per year based on years of service. So for every year that you work for the town, you would be vested in the town's contribution at 25%. So if an employee works for 3 years for the town and they chose to leave, they would take 75% of the town's contribution. Overall, it's about a $20,000 increase in net benefit cost to the town from $35,000 this year to about $50,000 next year. But that brings us in line with the MMA contributions in the benefits survey that they sent out, where it's most towns are covering about 80% of medical insurance. And then the retirement's kind of in line with industry standard. It's generous, but it does retain talent. I have budgeted figures on the retirement cost, and that goes to all W-2 employees of the town, including fire and rescue. Whereas our current benefits package was not offered to fire and rescue. The difference overall in this is that it's not based on hours worked. It's based on the employee putting money in and us matching it. And then on the health insurance side, there's just a defined contribution that we pay for full-time employees. And I think it makes it easier to administer. It's easier to budget for, and it's much simpler for the employee. Questions?
I just want to confirm that this is something that would have to be agreed to by the town at the next town meeting.
So there's two parts to this. There's the budgeting for it, which is in I think it's warrant 6 in the town admin line. And then there'll be a second piece where we'll have to rejoin the MMA Health Trust. We could do it at a special town meeting, but where this benefits package isn't going to be offered during this fiscal year, I think it can just wait till regular town meeting.
Okay.
But I will give MMA a call tomorrow and confirm that.
What are you confirming?
That we can do it at a regular town meeting versus special town meeting. Okay.
You can.
So
It just needs to be done at a town meeting.
yeah. So I think again, it's all got to get approved at town meeting, but I think this is a much more straightforward way to offer benefits to employees that is consistent, with an office job, in the private sector, and just streamlines it from us. So we're not looking at paying benefits out at a fixed dollar rate. And then that fixed dollar rate not really enabling employees to get meaningful benefits, where we want to offer benefits, especially in health insurance.
Laura, I have a question.
Yep.
You said 30 hours. Do we have an employee that is 30 hours? Because most of the time, full-time is 32 and above.
We don't have anybody at 30. I think the next highest after clerk and deputy clerk is admin assistant at 20 and treasurer at 20. And Megan might be close.
Oh, you add them all up. Yeah.
And the only other one that would be close would be Megan, the transfer station manager.
So that's why we're going with 30 and not 32.
We can change it to 32. I had just penciled 30 in, but I can change it back up to 32, which would be standard.
That is the standard. I'm just asking the question because I'm not sure.
Right. I think we had, and I'll have to double check personnel policy because I had heard 30 that we were using 30, but
Okay.
I agree that it should be 32, and I can edit that now.
I do too.
Um,
I agree with Peggy. I think that that's standard.
Yeah, I
32.
agree.
So what I'll do is we don't need to vote on it tonight per se.
Okay.
And I'll send out another update, but if that's the only update, we could vote on it tonight. If it's just changing that from 30 to 32, unless anybody has anything else.
My understanding was you were still waiting on some quotes, if I heard correctly, on the
So
health and dental.
so we have the MMA quotes back from MMA Health Trust, and that's the most straightforward way to go about doing this because we've already done the research on price. The two things that I need to confirm with them is when they do their open enrollment cost adjustment, because if they're like any other provider, it's on a calendar year adjustment, not a fiscal year adjustment, and we're going to need to have a reserve in case the premium spike spike January 1st instead of spiking July 1st. So that's the only thing that I really need to call on, because if you look at their mod rate adjustments over the last 10 years, it's between a 3 and 10% increase every year in insurance premiums on the health side. And we're just going to want to make sure either we have a separate contingency fund or we've beefed up our existing contingency fund to be able to absorb that and not push that entire increase onto the employee. I mean, they're still going to get that increase in what their contribution to the premium is, but if our policy is we pay 80% and we budget for 80% at one rate and halfway through the year the rate increases, we'd be running afoul of our own policy.
Is there any way? Okay, so your expectation is that we can get that number from MMA
We can't get the percentage,
Yeah, that's
but we can get
concern.
when it occurs.
Okay.
And you basically run on a 3-year rolling average on how much that contingency fund needs to be. You look and say, okay, the last 5 year or 3 or 5 years has been an average of 8% increases. Well, and the last 2 have been closer to 10. Well, it's, you build 10, or if it's, it's trending down, okay, maybe we can ride that trend and not have as much in contingency. But again, that's where our fiscal calendar wouldn't align with that. With the insurance premiums, we're just kind of at the mercy, which is kind of why I want to know the date, because if it's in, April or May, that's a lot less contingency funds that we need to build up versus if it's a January 1st switchover.
It's in
Okay.
It's December, they announce it
Like
for
it's calendar.
January 1st, yeah. I figured it would be. So we're gonna be looking at, we're gonna have 6 months of every year. It's at a different rate than what we budget for. So as long as we have a contingency fund built in, the first year or two, there may be some growing pains with that, but once we get into some consistency with it and we're used to budgeting for it, I don't anticipate it being a problem. We'll just have a reserve within that account to absorb any increases that occur.
Did
Okay,
you,
go ahead, Remy.
did you consult with, Mission Square about a vesting schedule?
I have not, which is why I'm not going to propose we adopt it today. But where we're making the contribution, we should be able to have that vesting schedule.
Okay, I just don't, when in all the conversations that I had with them, we weren't talking about a vesting schedule then, so I don't know if a different contract needs to be signed, with them. I just don't know, cause
Okay.
it never came up in conversation, cause that wasn't what we were doing,
I'll double check with them.
so.
Okay, so we will table finalizing the
vote.
benefits package.
Yep.
Right, okay.
But
I think this sounds like a good road to be going down.
Vest. All right.
Any other questions on this?
Vesting schedule, MMA. Writing my notes down.
Okay, so I'm not hearing any other questions. So we'll move on to the next item, which is we're going to actually have employee evaluations this year. And we want to begin, we'll start and complete them in the month of March. We haven't specifically stated when we're going to do these evaluations, but they will be done in March. The goal is to let everybody know that that's going to be done, and these evaluations will be part of merit increases going forward, as opposed to just having a cost of living increase across the board. Tyler, do you have anything else you want to add, or anybody else have anything else they want to add to that, the employee evaluations?
I didn't get a chance to email them out yet for review, but I have draft review templates that we might want feedback on.
Yep. Okay.
Do we want to maybe do a working session?
I think that'd be great.
Working session to iron out kind of what we're looking for in each of the positions that we're going to review next week.
Yep, sounds good.
And then I think we should schedule the reviews after we have the clerk interviews done. So probably this 3rd or 4th week in March.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we shouldn't provide the employees the templates, or at least the categories for discussion. And also, I think it also would make sense to not have the entire select board for each review. I think it would be less intimidating to just have 2 of us per employee. Just my 2 cents on that. Five is a little daunting.
We're not going to hit a quorum at 2, so I think that's fine. Ideally probably should be Bob and Carl as chair and vice chair, and then if they can't make it, one of us sub in.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it. I'm not sloughing it off. I've never sort of known of an evaluation process with that many people sitting with an employee. That's a little bit tough.
In a normal organization, you only have one boss, but all of our direct reports have 5 of us as bosses. Technically, it's not the board of board in quotes is the evaluator. So yes and no. I agree. It's definitely for the first year. It's probably would be intimidating to sit before the full board. And I'm not going to advise for or against it. I guess we just need to decide on that working session who's going to do who. Like personally, I shouldn't sit on the fire chief's evaluation because I'm evaluated by the fire chief as a firefighter. So I'll just throw that one out as an example. And then we have 3 employees that we're not going to be giving reviews to: the clerk, deputy clerk, and road commissioner, because they're elected and they're accountable to the voters. So
Yep.
we're only looking at our direct reports being the fire chief, the administrative assistant, the treasurer, the transfer station manager, the head librarian, and the animal control officer. Nope, because you report to the treasurer. Deputy treasurer reports to the treasurer. So the treasurer would do that evaluation as a supervisor.
I was appointed by you though.
We have to approve your appointment, but the deputy treasurer and I'll use in the transfer station attendants and the firefighters report to their respective department heads. So their department heads would do those evaluations if they choose to do performance evaluations. But for department heads, we should be doing those evals for our direct reports.
Can I ask a question? This is
Yeah.
Kat.
Mhm.
Have the employees been told ahead of time that they're going to be evaluated, or is this going to be something new to them?
New.
This was new.
Who?
New.
So are they going to be notified that there's an evaluation? I'm not I just worry a little bit about that if they weren't notified ahead of time.
Remy knows.
I know now.
It was in our personnel policy that we adopted in July that performance evals will be conducted part of continuing employment.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we have to do them as part of the policy that we adopted in July.
okay, and that's great. I just wanted to make sure that they knew that because that could be a little tricky if they didn't.
Yeah, I think it would be appropriate for us to let them know very soon that there will be evaluations done this year, and just give them a heads up and remind them that this is part of the personnel policy.
I think that's a good idea. And I also agree with Dan about the numbers of people sitting in front of them for the evaluation. 5's pretty intimidating.
So.
Yeah, I don't, I think I appreciate that perspective, and I'm fine with having 2 people evaluate or sit down with each employee. But I think there's important input from each member of the select board that should be part of the final evaluation.
Yeah, I think
Carl,
If
I'm gonna-
I,
I think that's a good idea too, but for the interview piece
Yeah, right.
and the follow-up with the rest of the board, I think is important.
Carl, can I bounce an idea off of you and see what you think? 2
Absolutely.
select board members do the actual in-person, going over the performance review. But we
Yep.
have the employee fill out the same form that we're going to fill out. And then
Right.
each 5 of the select board members fill it out. We summarize that information and then those 2 board members present that summarized feedback.
Okay, so will that require a 2-step evaluation, i.e. the
So,
sit down?
If we finalize the templates on Monday, we send them out Tuesday. And we give 2 weeks to fill them out. That puts us middle of March. Then we can, at the same time that we've sent them out to the employee, we're doing them themselves. We collate them and then we schedule those for the end of March.
Yep.
I think that gives us a pretty good timeline. Even if we
Yeah.
have to dip into April, we've got a little bit of wiggle room in April if we need to adjust budget numbers as a result of the evals, but we've got time to get them done and not have a budget impact.
Yeah, no, I think that approach works pretty well for me. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I have, just to continue on with what you have all said is in the past, when you had multiple department heads over the same person, that the form that Tyler is referring to, they fill out how they feel they are doing. And then if there were 5 or 6 department heads, they'd all fill out the same form. And the copies are all given to that person when you are in the doing the evaluation, so that they can see what all the department heads are thinking. And I don't know if that's what you mean, Tyler, by the same form given out, or I'm not sure what you're indicating there.
Basically, we'll have like a template that says, this is the responsibilities of this role. Are you doing them? And then some general areas that, like goal setting and things like that. The employee would fill that out as like a self-evaluation. And then
Yes,
we would also fill that out as the evaluators, as supervisors. And then we would take that, average the 5 of ours together and say, okay, what are the trends from how we've all evaluated this employee? Give that information to the 2 members that are going to actually interview, or not interview, but sit down with the employee and go over the evaluation. So that way they can have a productive conversation.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that makes sense. I do think that in the evaluation, we should have room for an open-ended option where they can provide, I mean, we're going to tell each person what the role is and what their responsibilities are, but if they're going over and above, for example, in certain areas that we're perhaps not aware of, I think that would be helpful in the evaluation as well.
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
That we recognize the contributions they're making, and not just that whether they're towing the line, so to speak, with the role that we've set in our job descriptions. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions about the employee evaluations? Okay. A question was posed to us: would a volunteer office help be useful? And my addition to that is, if so, what types of work would we ask volunteers to do without impinging on our paid staff members' time, but ensuring that the tasks are done correctly? I think there's potential for volunteer contributions, but I also don't want to wind up with a situation where our staff employees are having to teach those people how to and making sure that they're doing the job that they were tasked with properly.
Well, my sense is, well, it's twofold. First, that
It was
I
Drew that brought
completely
this.
appreciate.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I completely appreciate where that's coming from. That's certainly well meaning. This is a professional office. There's a lot of confidential information, a lot that goes on. So my first thought was, I'm not so sure that would work in the town office. The second sort of the staff, the professional staff, if there are some things that volunteers might be able to do. So I'm leaning towards no, but with that one asterisk that, maybe Heather can, and maybe Dorcas can come up with some things. I don't know.
I do think we need to talk with our staff before we make any decision on this. But it's an interesting question.
I mean,
Bob, go ahead, Tyler.
Drew was the one that brought this up. He said over I think it was Dexter, there's some, and I didn't bring the agency, but they will provide, they work out a deal with people to provide free help. They will come in and do like filing. The reason why Drew brought this up was because in his office, he's got like 10 5-inch 3-ring binders that are full of permits that need to get into the file cabinet. Why is because if you go to the file cabinet and open the drawer to lot 1 or drawing 1, lot 1, you should see the whole history of what was done to that lot. Right now, a lot of it's going to be in those books, and you'll never find them because they're by permit number, not by lot numbers.
And
So
Bob,
he
you're
brought
talking
that
about,
up.
Bob, sorry, you're talking about Jeff Drew,
Jeff
CEO.
Drew. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
That's the only reason I brought it up.
I mean,
it would be something, probably Kyle, if you talked with Drew, he might be able to explain it to you too.
Okay.
I think though, to the larger point about volunteerism in the office, and I'll kind of be a little bit more forceful than Dan was.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
In the clerk's office, in the treasurer's office, in the select board office, it's just too much confidential information that we, and MMA talks about that a lot of us take a personal liability on that I don't think we could expose volunteers to under state law. And I think to the larger point about where we want volunteers, it's in our subcommittees that are helping the select board make decisions more efficiently, whether it be comprehensive planning or planning board or appeals board or the communications committee or ordinance review or economic development or the community center board or the library trustees or the fire department. These are the areas where it's a lot more operationally productive for volunteers to give to the town. Like those are the areas where we need volunteers. In our professional staff office, where this is people's jobs that they're getting paid to do, like there's a different level of professionalism that's required that I don't think you can reasonably ask a volunteer to do. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it, I think. And the project that we're describing here where we need filing done, by rights, that is something that we have in theory paid somebody to do as a code enforcement officer for the last number of years. And maybe now that we've had this turnover and there's a better way to do it, we're finding out that it could have been done better. But this is something that we've paid to have done over the past
It's going to get worse.
And I don't disagree. But I don't think we should be relying on paper files for this. This should be all digitized. Right.
Yeah, I think this requires a bigger discussion. I'd really like to talk with Jeff in more detail about what we might need to do here. Since we're moving to an electronic permitting system, I'd like to understand how that's going to overlay anything we're proposing here. So, and I totally agree with the volunteer office help in the sense that there's just too much confidential information. And agree, Tyler, with your points that volunteers are best serving the community by joining committees.
Let me bring up one more thing that Jeff brought up. We've gone back, or he has also gone back to 2020. And we haven't paid any. Oh, when there's a plumbing permit that's issued, I think it's, yeah, $100. $75 of that goes to the town. The rest of it goes someplace else. We have not been doing that.
Meaning to the state.
No, us. We're supposed to be mailing money to DEP and the
Right.
state.
Right.
And for those years, we have not been doing it.
So what's our potential liability?
Bob, who's asking for it? I mean,
Well-
I know we should do it in the future, but let sleeping dogs lie.
No, you can't, because right now, I think we owe over a couple of thousand to the state and a couple hundred to the DEP. I
I-
remember,
Why weren't we sending it in the past?
well, I remember we, and mentioned that it came to CEO, a notice to the treasurer, and it was send this and send this. And it was, I haven't gone back to pick up one. It's got dropped, the ball got dropped.
Well, something we
Okay.
need to take care of then, I guess.
Yep.
We have to find out where it stopped and then work forward from there. So
Is that
Jeff and
another
I-
piece that maybe Sherry can help us with, Dorcas's assistant?
No, I think
we're gonna have to do this all
dig through.
internally.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to dig through, go back to Marvel, Rich Marvel, and
Wow.
Wow,
Okay.
that's quite a while.
Yeah.
it,
I think we should perhaps review where we are and then reach out to these different organizations and see if we can strike an agreement about how to come up to speed, or address what hasn't been paid.
I don't know why we haven't gotten a bill.
24 years.
Yeah,
That's kind of where I'm coming from. How
Yeah.
long, Bob Marble, how long ago was that? I'm
Richard-
kind of here.
It's 26
Richard was
years.
probably
So
20 years ago.
we haven't paid it in 26 years. I guess I'm not as
Just let's wait for the bill.
yeah. Let's talk to the state and find out if we actually need to be paying this or.
I wouldn't talk to
I,
anybody.
yeah, I'd like to understand the process better so that we can address that and
Right.
be right going forward. And then we can understand what happened in the past.
Yeah, we want to be square going forward. But 20 years in the past? I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay. I think we've covered the volunteer piece, and Bob, you've given us a new task to work on. Then one item that is not on the published agenda is that the select board has discussed giving a pay increase to Kelly to $24 per hour. And Bob, I don't know if you want to say a little bit more about that, but Kelly is basically doing the bulk of the work in terms of town clerk responsibilities, or she's doing in terms of the activities that she's doing. She's definitely taken on more and more over the year, and the idea here was to recognize that contribution. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before we vote to approve this increase to 24 hours?
That was done in,
$24.
right? This is.
Not a public meeting.
This was done in December, but we're just reaffirming it, right? I'll make a motion that we, what was the pay to 20?
My understanding was it was $24.
Okay. My motion is to raise the pay Kelly to $24.
The motion also needs to include that this will be using more contingency funds. That's the problem.
We didn't budget for it.
It's not budgeted for. This is using contingency funds because there's also been, this is the second raise and the first raise dipped into contingency.
We budgeted an amount and then we gave Kelly a raise in July. And then we proposed giving another raise in December. Both times we didn't budget for that raise, so we've had to dip contingency funds to pay for it.
Correct.
But let me ask a question though, Tyler. Didn't we look at the rate of expenditures for the first half of the year and weren't we under spending? Oh, maybe that was a different salary.
I think that was a different line, but no, I don't have Trio open, but
Okay.
we discussed it in July and we discussed it in December, and both times you said it would come out of contingency funds. But in the meantime, we've put other things on contingency funds as well.
I don't think some of the things that we were going to put in contingency, we have to. I don't think so.
But we have to put this, because where else are you gonna draw it from?
Yeah, and it's not gonna be much.
There needs to be an amended motion.
So we have what? A motion?
You need to amend the motion.
The motion needs to you can include the pay raise, but it has to include that you are dipping into the contingency funds for it. It has to be approved in a public meeting, the contingency fund portion.
I'll make a motion that we give the raise to Kelly for $24 an hour to be taken from the contingency fund.
I'll second it.
Okay, and a vote?
1 second, just finish writing here.
Cool.
Bob?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Tyler?
Nay.
Dan?
Aye.
Carl?
Aye.
Peggy?
Aye.
With second.
Hmm?
Well, Peggy, what was your vote? Sorry.
It was I.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, are there any other items that need to be added or that anybody has to add to today's meeting?
I have one, in speaking with the community center, I tried to do a presentation the other night using projector and I ran into a bunch of issues with it. And I'm running into a bunch of issues with the TV over here. So in talking to the community center, it's proposed to, and I can use the camera here to show, is where this light is on the back wall. To replace that light with a TV. And use that for our conferencing system. In speaking with Bob, we have the technology capital line. And this would be a capital project, a capital asset, because it would last more than 5 years. I've priced out an 85-inch TV from Sam's Club, Walmart, and Best Buy, and depending on which brand you go with and which wall mount. It's under $1,000, so we don't need to put it out for bid. The TVs are running between. If you don't get a Samsung and you get, you know, I'm not going to say an off-brand, but a non-name brand, you're looking at like between $600 and $800 for the TV, $100 for the mount, and then like $30 to hook it back into our AV system. So I would move to expend up to $1,100 out of the technology capital line for the purchase of a new TV and wall mount at the community center.
I second it.
Second. Oop. 2 seconds.
Okay, and a vote?
Bob,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Peggy,
Aye.
Carl.
Aye.
I will plan on getting that ordered hopefully tomorrow. And then try and get it installed before our public hearings. I'm gonna need Bob's assistance to turn that light into a receptacle. I'm not an electrician. I ain't touching it.
Okay, I can help with that if need be. Are there any other items that we need to talk about?
I got a couple.
Okay,
Like to shut down the transfer station section for brush. The reason is because it's getting close to where the trucks need to get down into the bag to pick up the bins. So if much more brush comes in, they're gonna be in trouble
so shut down permanently or shut down temporarily?
temporarily until spring.
Are we gonna have it cleaned out before spring cleaning?
Probably.
Well,
Right now, if they try to bring a loader in there and push back the brush, they're going to pick up all the dirt and they're going to make it so that the grinder is not going to, they're not going to want to grind it. We already have a big pile up there right now that's got dirt in it. So we can't move what's up there right now,
So
and probably not until it dries out, which makes it late. Probably May.
then there's nowhere else we can put it up there.
Nope.
Can't start another brush pile.
I
No.
think that's a pretty big deal. I see where Tyler's going on this.
Yeah,
One of the things I'd ask is, what does Megan say about this? And also the committee, Bob? I understand what you're saying, but is this everybody's opinion? I mean, is there no solution? That's a big deal.
Burn it. It's brush. Why can't we burn
Can't,
it?
we don't have a license.
I feel like it's easier to get a license to burn it than it is to shut down. You know, we have a volunteer fire department. I mean, we can talk to Jason, but I'm not going to speak for the department, but I'm sure we could get a training out of standing there with an apparatus, making sure it doesn't spread and just
Yeah.
burn it.
Through the snow, it's probably not going to spread.
No, then you get problems.
We got $2 million worth of fire equipment sitting across the street.
You talk to the DEP?
It's brush. It's not like we're not burning trash, we're burning brush.
No.
I think it's a lot to ask to shut brush dumping when we're about to go into spring clean. Everybody's gonna be cleaning their yards. And what is everybody gonna do with this stuff?
I'll ask.
I think Tyler's right. I think that we need to troubleshoot this. Brush, we might be able to burn it. There might be other solutions. It's a big move, Bob, to shut that down through spring cleaning. It's going to be an early spring. Everybody knows that. It's going to snap in about 2 weeks.
I mean,
Right.
I'm okay shutting it down for like a month while we still have snow on the ground, while we figure out what we're gonna do with the brush that's there. But getting into April and not being able to take brush is a lot to ask. I'm sure we can figure out something to do with it in 6 weeks.
Okay.
So I mean, I'll move it to stop taking brush for.
Well, let's hold off then.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with 30 days at the max.
At least give
at
us
this point.
30 days to figure something out.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't be taking a lot of brush right now because it's all buried in snow.
Hope so.
So I mean, I'll move it right now. I move to suspend brush collection at the transfer station for 30 days while we figure out what to do with the existing brush piles.
Okay. Second.
Vote.
I can only write so fast. Sorry, hang on. Usually everybody just says aye and then or raises their hand. It's a lot faster. Right, Bob,
Aye.
Tyler,
Aye.
Dan,
I,
Carl,
Aye.
Peggy.
Tyler, that's a big move. Could we post that online? I don't want somebody to show up with a huge trailer full
I
of
will
trash.
get that out
after
on
them.
social media and on the website.
Yep.
Either tonight or first thing in the morning,
Thanks, buddy.
depending on how tired I am when I
Great.
get home.
The next thing is they would like to have a sign that they can post right at the bins. No one is allowed in the bins.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe it should say per selectman or select board, but they say they really need something to stop people from getting in those bins.
I'm
Any-
all for putting up signs to that effect.
Suggestion?
I don't know, put a fine on it. If you go in the bin, you're gonna get fined. Whatever our
Yeah,
insurance premium is.
I don't know that that'll help.
Kathy, did you want to say something? You were laughing. Did you want to say something?
I'm just wondering if the transfer committee has discussed any of these topics. And if not, shouldn't they be?
I would agree with that too.
Yes, this just came up this week. We haven't had a committee meeting in a while.
Bob, if you could take it to the committee, and come back with a recommendation for the select board, that would be great.
Yeah, I think that would be the more appropriate way to do it.
Oh, look at me.
I'll just bring them up.
I mean, I think I'm all for signs. I think we need to keep people from hurting themselves and
But
town being liable.
there's a bigger problem here if people think they need to be jumping into the bins to either get stuff or. Yeah, that needs to go to the committee. And I think that too, and if the committee also needs to discuss the brush issue.
Yep.
So you got 30 days.
Oh, that's it.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Any questions from the public?
It's Kathy.
No questions.
Move to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
second. Vote.
Aye.
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 Okay, can I also have the select board stay back for a second once the meeting is over?
Yep.
Yes, of course.
I don't know if we actually can.
Yeah,
Well,
If it's not a special or a executive session, I don't know if we can, Remy. I think you'd have to raise it in public or we'd have to schedule an executive session in 2 weeks.
Oh, good
Okay.
point.
then we're gonna have to
Are
do
you
that.
asking for an executive session?
Well, I wasn't going to, but if that you think that's needed, we're gonna have to.
yeah, I think that's the
Yeah,
only
if
way we
it's-
can do
If
it.
it's just with us, it has to be an executive session.
Okay.
We can schedule it before.
It could be before the next meeting. That's
Or we
fine.
could do it
Yeah, we
Monday
could do it. Perhaps we talked about meeting next Monday, so
for
perhaps
our
then,
working session.
yeah.
And
I mean,
I have something that has to go on it.
it would have to be after the, that meeting and have to be scheduled.
technically, we just need a 7-day notice. Either that or we can put, I mean,
I don't care if it's before the next select board meeting too. That's fine. It doesn't have to run late after. So.
why don't we just do it before our working session at 6 o'clock on Monday? Does that work?
See one
If not, we can do it after our working session on Monday.
second. Yeah, that's fine.
I will post the meeting. That we'll have a select board meeting. Probably 8 o'clock. We have a working session at 6. It gives us, I don't anticipate it being a 2-hour working session, but maybe
Oh,
7.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
a working session at 6 and then have a meeting at 7.
To finalize that template. Yeah, to finalize that template. Yeah.
Yeah, give us an hour to do that and
7's fine.
that, okay, so.
Night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Be safe.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, bye.